Welcome viewers to the next episode of Marketing in the Never Normal, where we are interviewing industry leaders, thought leaders on their perspective on how marketing is changing in a post-COVID world. Today we have with us Ms. Payel Basu. She is the head of marketing for MoveInSync, which is a leader in the employee commute space. Welcome, Payel.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you today on this talk show.
Thank you.
So Payel, considering the current COVID situation that's kind of disrupted a lot of industries, businesses. So what have been some challenges which has impacted your business? And what do you see as few challenges which will probably continue to exist during the short term?
So as you know, we are in the employee commute space, and if people don't come to work, it's bad news for us. So obviously we've been impacted by the lockdown and the slowdown in businesses, and we do foresee that the businesses might not resume to the full volumes immediately like we used to, but of course this is not going to be permanent. We do see critical teams have already started resuming work, and with Unlock 1.0, we see gradually volumes being back to normal, slowly, with the right precautions there. In terms of challenges, of course, yes, the volumes were affected in terms of business. But like any other startup, we are pretty agile in terms of the technology focus that we have. So we use this time to quickly develop a suite of products which can be suitable for the new phase of operation in terms of post-COVID. Both in terms of how you offer employee commute to your employees, you need to take certain precautions so that the virus is not spreading. So whether it's a social distancing or it is marking or flagging of employees if they're trying to commute from a red zone. So those technology innovations is what we did during this time. We utilized that time. We also diversified into a new set of office management tools to come up with, wherein offices will start operating with limited capacity. But even in those limited capacities, you will need rostering, you will need, say, a desk booking, you will need to monitor how many people are there in the cafeteria, you will need to schedule how people are coming in. So all of those in terms of your digital passes for even visitors, so that you have a track of who's coming in, the environmental health checks. So we've kind of made our product adaptable to the new normal that we'll all have to face starting this Monday.
Yes. So it's interesting to see how you've kind of looked at commute from a different angle as well. So even with respect to how mobile the workforce is within the campus and within the cafeterias and things like that, and quickly adapted your solution. So that's very interesting to see. So how are you seeing your interactions with customers? The kind of dialogue that you're having with them change in this new normal.
So we've been, most of our customers have been with us for long. We've been market leaders in the employee commute space for over a decade now. And we are very closely connected with the customers. We even helped most of them, shift to this work from home mode overnight by helping them shift desktops and the infrastructure that they needed to get to their employees. So all throughout, we've been having very close dialogues with them where we understand what the need is, and this suite of products that we have developed is also because of that. We realize what challenges they are going to be facing, how they have to be careful when they open up their facilities, and our endeavor has been to address those through our technology.
Okay. So we are seeing that this new situation is kind of disrupting how marketing was also being done or will be done going forward. So what do you think will be the role of content marketing or digital marketing going forward?
It's a very interesting thing because when there's a slowdown of any sorts, whether it's Corona or just a business cycle slowdown, companies look at rationalizing expenses first, and that's the right thing to do as well. And obviously marketing always takes a hit in terms of you can't keep spending bags full of money when you have to rationalize expenses. So it's interesting times for marketing. at the same time, like you mentioned, I think content marketing is like a parachute that you open, at these times even more
Yeah.
than you would have done otherwise, because that's something which is in your control as a marketing team. If you have in-house capabilities, which I strongly recommend you should always have, uh, you can tap into content marketing at this point in time. And if your brand is a market leader, you will have also, a lot of insights and data and experience in operating in different scenarios with clients. So you can produce great quality content like case studies, newsletters, infographics, which you, through your owned media channels, and there are several other channels also right now available,
Yes.
you can distribute and continue your communication with the clients. We are thought leaders in this space. We are market leaders in this space. So our endeavor is always to, do a consultative sale. It is not about just the transaction. It is also about helping your client, realize the value of the software that you are using in terms of rationalizing their operations cost, optimizing, their employee satisfaction. So this is the time where you need to tap into content marketing, produce great quality content, data-driven content, and become kind of the go-to information seeker for all your clients.
True, true. That's an interesting analogy of comparing content marketing to parachutes. That was very nice. What would be some pointers that you would like to give other marketing peers to handle the current challenges in the marketplace?
One, like I said, so I can talk about what we did.
Sure.
I think case studies are great because they also, they connect with the client. You're also helping the client understand in their particular context, what is it that they should be doing? What's the next step that you can enable for them? Use case studies. I always emphasize on data. Use as much of data analysis as you can, because data-driven content, even for a reader, the read rate is higher, the retention rate is also higher. If you back up something with the data, even if it's a small number that you are quoting, the authenticity goes up and there is value to it. So I'll come back, to a particular site or something where I get data from quite often, or I get information which I can use. So become that source for your, whoever your target audience is. Social media, I would say the owned media, your own companies, say LinkedIn channel, even Instagram stories or Facebook, are great channels to use at this point in time. LinkedIn, you should work towards increasing your followership. It has, it has gone past that 500 million mark. I think I was reading a stat somewhere about 674 million people use it every day. So whether you are in the enterprise business or you are in the B2C business, good chances that a substantial chunk of your population will be on LinkedIn. So, utilize your own channel to have that followership, but you can do that by producing good quality content.
Okay.
Also, when you speak about digital medium, I think long and short format content both work well. Short format contents work very well with, Instagram stories or, even on LinkedIn. We try and do a lot of GIF, short format videos, which are, which somebody would be interested to watch. At the same time, it communicates the information within 30 seconds to a minute, and you have the attention of the target group that you are, anyways aiming at.
Okay. So with the current disruption that's happened, there are a lot of businesses across industries who have also pivoted pretty well with respect to either reworking their value proposition for the client or even with their marketing efforts as well. So is there any such brand or a leader that you've noticed during these times which you felt was very interesting way of either leading from the front or probably pivoting the business itself?
See, business pivoting, I really can't think of any right now. What comes to my mind is how we've pivoted ourselves, because maybe, I do have a lot of bias on that, being a part of it. In terms of marketing efforts, I think most brands, shaped up very well and switched to the digital medium because during the lockdown period, most of us were actually spending more time on digital, whether it's on your cell phone or on your desktop. So I do see lots of good quality ads being done on LinkedIn. Communication being targeted at this point in time. I think TikTok videos, I was having a conversation with somebody from TikTok. Their viewership skyrocketed. And that's something to keep in mind, because TikTok has a very different, or their viewership doesn't overlap typically with like a Facebook or a LinkedIn. Their viewership is a very different demographic altogether. So brands have started thinking now to go there as well.
Okay. So any book that you would like to recommend that you've probably read during these times, which you felt was inspiring, motivating, or enabling you to think differently, or lateral thinking? Any book that you would like to recommend?
See, there are lots of books because I love reading. One book which I had read earlier, but I keep going back to it, especially in times of when you need resilience. It is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Yeah. Beautiful.
If you've read it, it's about the Austrian, psychologist who survived the Holocaust or the concentration camps.
Correct.
So I feel that in difficult times, regardless of how much we feel that we don't have a choice, still that last leg of freedom is still with each one of us, to choose kindness, to choose how we react, to humanize every experience. And that's a very positive spark. That's a very positive feeling. And you can pass it on to someone, whoever you are passing it on to. It's also like a viral reaction. It goes on somewhere, and that's wherein the shift starts.
Correct.
So that's something which, I recommend, and I ask everyone to, it's like a reread. I think that's a book which you can read just once. You read once and you keep going back to.
True.
Other than that, coincidentally, it happened just before all of this started. My co-founder had gifted me this book by Ben Horowitz, The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And that's
also a good book.
Very relevant at this point in time. In terms of, many CEOs and CXOs would have had to take hard decisions.
True.
And how you deal with that.
True. So thanks, Payel. It was very interesting insights which I got through the conversation, especially the analogy of using content as a parachute during these times, or focusing on how various other digital mediums can be looked at by brands which they haven't explored before, or even being agile and quickly pivoting your business by looking at it from a totally different angle and still being relevant and adding value to your customers in times of such distress. It was very interesting. So thanks once again for your time, and look forward to collaborating with you again. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, and all the best for the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.